மக்கள் இப்போ நிறைய ஜாயின் பண்ணுவாங்க. ஜாயின் பண்ணதுக்கு அப்புறம் ரெடி.
ஓகே சார். ஒரு 2 மினிட்ஸ் கொடுக்கலாம். நோ ப்ராப்ளம்.
Okay. Okay, Raja. Unmute your video.
Okay, sir. Should I turn on my video?
Yes.
Okay. Can you see me?
Yes. Am I audible, participants? Please post yes in the chat box. Yes. Okay. We will move on to the session. Very good evening. Warm welcome to all. We are into the third week of Skill Fest webinar series. Thank you for your consistent support. On behalf of Jaya Group of Institution, it's my honor and privilege to welcome you all for the today's webinar on transforming from a student to a professional, expectation versus reality. The topic conveys the clear message what the today's session is all about. It's a student-focused webinar. We have one of the very active IT professional with us, Mr. Raja Ganeshan. He's one of the recruitment team member in his organization, and he's meeting a lot of fresh graduates every year, as well the professionals during the interview process. He is going to share his experiences, what the expectation of graduates from the industry, and what the industry expects from the fresh graduates. Whether both are meets their expectation, what's the reality would be. That's the talk we are going to hear from Raja today. So it's my honor and privilege to welcome to the speaker on behalf of Jaya Group of Institutions and all the participants. It's my pleasure to welcome you, Raja. Before getting into the session, a few points for the newcomers at the end of the presentation. So you can find the feedback form at the top of the chat box. It's where you can select and you can fill up the feedback form and submit, through which the A certificate will be generated. Then I request everyone to type your name in the capital letter, and also you can provide a valid email ID. And request everyone to submit the feedback form. Okay, otherwise the certificate will not be generated. Some of the email IDs with college domain, the certificate may not reach you because they may have kind of filter in the domain server. So better you can use your personal mail ID, and we will take care of each and every one of your concern. Either it may be through phone or through mail. So write back to us if there is any kind of convenience. Then the technology used here is purely rely on the strength of the local bandwidth. So if we have any kind of issues, audio or video, just you can press a reconnect button so that you will rejoin with the room. Okay, so don't leave the room or don't close the window, don't close the browser. Okay, so otherwise the webinar will expire. And in that case, again you have to re-register, then you can connect with us. Okay. And if there is any technical glitch in our side, we will back maximum of 30 seconds. Okay, so don't close the window or don't leave the room. We will take the question at the end. If you have any queries, please type in the chat box and you can select Q&A mode so that we will take your questions at the end. So you can watch the replay of videos of all our webinars through YouTube. Okay, search by using the topic of webinar. And with this note, I am very glad to introduce our today's speaker, Mr. Raja Ganeshan. Raja have completed his graduation in engineering, so BTech IT from Anna University, and a master's in software system in BITS planning. He currently works as a delivery project manager in Emphasis Limited with over 16 years of experience in the IT field. He started his career as a programmer, Perl and Oracle, then transformed into a business analyst specialized in retirement market in US annuities. He is a level 1 certified LOMA professional and have completed his Oracle certification. And apart from that, he is also a certified Scrum Master and ITEL certified professional. Great pleasure to have you for the day, Raja. With this brief introduction, on behalf of all the participants, I welcome you to present. Over to Raja.
Thank you so much, sir. Can you guys hear me? Sir, you can hear me, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Can I start the presentation?
Yes.
So I hope you guys can see my presentation, right? Okay. Thanks a lot for all the kind words, sir.
Yes.
I think a single statement would have been better than all these statements. And that statement is, I am a Jaya College product. It's as simple as that. So that's what is the base on which it's been built. So, it's a school and college that actually builds a professional, nothing else. So with that note, we can start. So I think sir clearly told the instructions about the certificates. I'm sure that's one of the driving factors for this webinars as well. So please hold on your questions for that. Other than that, if I'm going too fast, I'm going too slow, please put it in the chat window. I have the chat window on my right side. I'm seeing that. So put it over there. If I'm too boring, please feel free to log off. No issues. Okay. So I hope the next 50 minutes, 45 minutes maybe, I don't think I'll talk more than that. We will have a good session, basically. There is nothing technical about it. So hopefully, and this is not the time, unless you are not in Indian time zone, hopefully you won't feel sleepy. So without much ado, we'll start. So the topic that I thought I should talk about is on transforming from a student to a professional, expectations versus reality. Now, like what Sir was saying, I had been part of the recruitment team as well in my company, and more than that, I got a lot of chances to meet meet the college students, be it Jaya college students or other college students as well. So I thought it's important to talk about this as well, apart from all the technical aspects that there is thousands of webinars that's currently available in the internet. Okay, now, so what is this about? Transforming from a student to a professional. I am assuming most of this crowd, 90% of this crowd is from a Tamil background. If you are from a Tamil background, I'm sure you would know who Rajinikanth is, our superstar Talaivar is. Now, my all-time favorite movie of his is, of course, Basha. In one of the songs, he used to say, a life has to be split into 8 phases, right? And each phase, transforming from each phase, is as critical as the phase in itself. So we can actually say, that's kind of an inspiration for me in this as well. So the transformation of us from being a student to a professional is a humongous transformation. Okay, so how do we take that? Is what I think I would like to say from my experience as well as from what I see from people. Okay, so let's go to the next one. So what are we going to cover? The baby steps. Yes, the first steps that we have to take in this whole transformation. Let's look at the views from a fresher, guy who's getting into a company. What does he think of when he gets into a company? And then we will also look at the other side of the coin. We'll look at what the companies think of. What do they expect from a fresher? And then we look at one important thing as well. A quick look at the resume. Okay, because that is something, which triggers the entire interview process, right? In any of your selections that you're going to go, it is a resume that's going to be the trigger point for you. And then we will talk briefly about, the interview as an aspect in itself. Okay, and then lastly, not a big thing that I might know. I'm not huge in these things, but still, I will try to give you some useful tips and links, which I'm sure most of you guys would already know. But it's always better to hear it again. So this is what we are going to cover. Like I said, very simple. We'll keep it simple. I'm open to any questions as well. I think Sir has already given the modalities for that. You can go ahead and put it in the chat window. We will probably take it at the last. But if there is something in the middle you want me to stop and talk about it again, let's talk a little more about it, please do put it over here. I will try to see if I can accommodate it based on the timelines we have. Okay. So let's go in. Okay. So what are we here? The baby steps. I started with talking about Superstar, and I'm now talking about, let's remember, CM. Definitely not political, guys. I'm not talking about politics here. But there is something very, very important with regards to CM that we need to remember. So what is it? There are 3 C's that I always see it's very critical that, we should follow, regardless of whether we are a fresher or we are a, professional experience, be it whatever line of work that you are. These are the C's that I think we should follow, which is communication, commitment, of course, common sense. And the M's to avoid. I would like to look at, yes, mobile phone, mindset, and money. Okay, don't jump on me already. We will talk about these things. I'm not saying all these are M's to avoid doesn't mean, you should totally avoid them. It's about how you restrict to use them. Okay, so we will look at these things in detail. Okay. Okay. C's to follow. Okay. Communication. This, I would tell, this is the most important, most critical, and the most difficult thing that I see when it comes to a transformation. Okay. When somebody moves from college to a professional environment, this becomes the biggest roadblocks. Okay. Sorry for that. So the heart of transformation, like I say, this is your heart. Okay. If you want your transformation to be successful, communication has to beat inside you. Okay. Otherwise, it's as good as nothing. You can have how much ever technology, technical aspects, thoughts, ideas, you can have everything within you. What is the whole point if you cannot talk about it to the person sitting right across you? Okay, so what you think can be 100 things. Okay, you might have 100 awesome ideas. You might be good in 100 different things, right? But is that what you always say? That's where the problems come. Okay, this is the biggest trouble I see when it comes to right from the interviewing phase to the project deployment phase, to the project execution phase with freshers. Okay, I could actually see, if we have senior professionals here in this session, they will agree with me, because many times we see that these guys, I could actually see that these guys actually know it. These guys know what they are going to talk about. These guys know what that is about. But when they try to talk about it, half of the things doesn't even come out from their mouth. Even if it comes out, it doesn't come out coherently. So why is it that way? What is it that stops you guys from all this? Again, 2 things are there. It's very important. It's not always about talking. It's also about listening versus hearing. What the hell is the difference? Listening, hearing, supposed to be the same. Listening means you're actually listening and trying to understand what is being talked. Hearing is about all the chats that I see on the right hand side that people will probably be chatting, not here, I'm sorry. You would probably be chatting in your phone and you'd be here for the certificate. That is the hearing part. Listening part is the part where we actually allow our mind to concentrate on what is being talked across the board. You increase the habit of listening, okay, which means your mind is taking in more information, so more data, and then it processes into information, and you will be able to say much more also out. Now, how do you articulate that? I was part of 99 to 2003 in Jaya College, actually. Okay, back in those days, yes, we did not have cell phones, we did not have LinkedIn sessions, we did not have online web sessions, etc., which is actually a good thing. It's actually a very good thing, because, for example, in our college, when I passed out in 2003, I had a very good friend of mine who was an IIM aspirant. Okay, he actually helped us. He actually conducted a session a couple of days back, Venkatachalam. He was an IIM aspirant, which means he went into all this group discussions, seminars, trainings, etc. So he came up with this thought, why not we try to practice it within ourselves? So we started doing it in our final year, wherein we said, okay, let's pick up a topic and let's start talking about it. We started with that. Believe me, guys, it actually helped a lot of people. It did help a lot of people. We asked our guys to actually come out, stand in front, and talk. Most of us are good to talk from the back benches. But are we able to talk in front of a stranger, in front of a person who's probably going to give you a job, in front of a person who's probably going to define your life? Possibly not. So this is what we did. We said, okay, let's have a session. So we started giving people, okay, talk about something that you would like. It may not be about technology, but it's all about you trying to come out with a string of coherent words with some meaning. So that's where we started. What I would say is, if we have third years and final years in this group, or even the freshers, start talking a lot in those size. That will have a huge impact. Believe me, I know this for a fact, because it helped me to improve myself. It helped a lot of my friends as well. So the articulation of thoughts is the most critical part, because you can think of a lot of things, but if you cannot make the other person understand what you're thinking of, I'm sorry, it's not going to help. And gone are the colleges where you can write and give. So that is the most important part. Next, commitment. Our commitment is, again, a knowledge without commitment. I would compare it as a ship without an anchor. Why would you say that? Simply because you might have knowledge about 100 different things, but you should have the commitment, the focus to get it done. The anchor actually lets the ship to rest on something and get its goods, onboard goods, or at least give out the goods. So similar to that, the commitment is the one which is going to make sure your knowledge, your efforts are actually being executed. So what is the point? This is something which, again, I see a little lacking these days. Not here to actually keep complaining, guys. Not about that. It's like, it's got to do with pretty much with the way we have been coming around in all these years, where in schools we had the teachers who had to take care of us. If we are not good in subjects, we always had the tutors at home who will take care of us. We had our parents who are probably the best tutors in this world. And then you go to college, you have your staffs who will take care of that yourself. Most importantly, you have, I don't know if you guys still have, there used to be made easies. A book of 600 pages will come in a made easy in 20 pages, which will take care of you in passing the exams. But how many times have you actually taken ownership of a situation or a subject, or something that you had to do by your own? Unfortunately, that's very less until you step into the working world. Let it be a business that you want to start on your own, or let it be you joining a company. That is where the ownership comes into the picture. Because when this happens, you are expected to run the show. Until now, you expect somebody else to do it for you. Somebody else is there. You have your beautiful, knowledgeable staffs who tell you what you need to do. You just have to listen to them and you have to do it. How many times have we done, the last minute, group studies where, you will always have some friend or the other who will probably be able to tell you a 4-page essay in just 4 points. You go, you finish it off in 4 pages, 14 pages you will write. But again, you need somebody to, tag you along. You need somebody to move you forward. But that does not happen in a corporate world, or does not happen when you step out of education via college versus education via actually doing a job and learning. For that, if a task is given to you, you are the sole ownership for that. We have seen a lot of places where we see this is the biggest trouble people have. The biggest problem here is, with communication, at least people would know that, I'm slightly lacking back in communication. But when it comes to commitment, sometimes people do not even know that this is what they are lacking. For example, you give somebody a job today. Okay, get this done. Let me put it this way. This is where, again, I should be thankful to the college life that I had, where, right from my 3rd year, we were part of the, first group of IT who passed out from an university. So everything that we had to do by ourselves, with of course, the staff's guidance. But that's where, the college management gave us a free hand. They said, okay, conduct a symposium, bring in colleges, but you need to run the day end to end. How does it even matter when you compare it to your work, is what somebody might think. But I'll tell you, it actually matters. If I am able to run an entire day of events myself, so we had like 4 or 5 events. I remember, I forgot the symposium name that we did. Sorry about that. But I was part of the team which took quiz competition. Okay, so right from getting the questions, until then we thought, okay, what is the big deal? Quiz, let's get 5 questions, 10 questions each. But once we started getting, then we thought, okay, this seems very simple. This seems too complicated. So now how much should be the time duration? How do I go on about it? How do I classify that? How do I compartmentalize the event? Now, how do I even go get participants for it? And when they come in, how do I make sure that, there is a seamless transition for them? A simple thing. We can always see that, there is a lot to go for it when you start doing it on your own. So that we did. Look at it from a company perspective. The moment somebody gives you a job, somebody gives you a task, or somebody does not even give you a task, 7 out of 10 people sit back. They do not step forward. They do not talk to their buddies. They do not talk to their leads. They do not ask, what, I'm available. Is there something that I need to go through? Is there something that I can take it up? Nothing like that comes out. That has to come out for you guys. And when something is given, take it as, this is a challenge that I would do on my own, and I will be able to prove that, I should be able to deliver this. There might be faults, there might be failures. And believe me when I say this, most of the companies are ready to stay on with students who are ready to challenge themselves, try out things and fail, rather than students who just sit back without doing it, saying, you know what, I do not know the technology. Can you tell me what I need to read? If you tell me, I will read it, I will do it. What the heck? Do we tell how many games are there in the app store? No. You go and you browse. So similar to that, this is what the companies expect as well. Ownership on the task that's given to you. Last is common sense. I'll tell you, this is fast becoming uncommon thing today. So common sense is the most uncommon thing. Is what I used to hear from somebody whom I actually admire, my boss actually. So the most uncommon thing. Why? Simply because we can actually go back to the movie industry again. Sorry about always giving examples from a movie industry. Used to be one movie where I think it was Radha Ravi or somebody who asks Vivek to call up the shop and find out if the groceries have arrived. He calls up and says, okay, it's arrived. Then he again asks, okay, how much is arrived? He again calls. Again he asks some other question. He again calls. Now why does it happen? It's a small thing, but it tells you a very beautiful thing there. You do not sense why you are doing something and what is it that is expected out of you. You do not think about it and you do not question what is assigned to you to understand it fully. You only go ahead, follow what is being given to you, and you do it, and then you leave it there. Then the other person who's actually responsible is what you feel. There's always a project lead, there's always a project manager, there's always a delivery manager. You expect them to tell you, okay, so what next? So after they ask that, then we start asking that. That should not be the same. So I am to avoid mobile phone. Seriously, guys. I saw forward that says, yes, the greatest irony is that, internet and phone are meant to save time. My God. Yes, they are meant to save time as long as you don't use them or use them wisely. So what's the most used apps on your phone? People can actually chat if you, put it in the chat window. What is the most used app in your window? In your phone? Just take 10 seconds. People can go ahead and put it over there. So what is it that you use most in your phone? Can people just put it there in the chat window? Excellent. Cool. See a lot of things. Mobile banking, Google, Instagram, hero of all apps, WhatsApp, online games, YouTube. Oh my God. Okay, wait. Why is it that nobody has said here the most used app in your phone is actually the phone app, which is actually used for talking? Okay, nobody says phone is used for talking. Excellent. So that's what my point is. The phone was actually devised for talking, and yes, for doing some useful things. Yes. Is Insta a useful thing? Or WhatsApp a useful thing? Yes. Useful to while away your time. I'm not saying we should not do that. I myself is a big time WhatsApper. I stopped. I don't have an Insta account. But yes, WhatsApp is. But aren't you supposed to actually use the phone to talk? Google, yes. How many people actually have apps that say Simply Learn? There is an app. I think Udemy has its own app. Skillports has their own apps. Do we even have that with us? No. All I'm trying to tell is spend 10% of the time that you're spending on WhatsApp or Insta in something that's useful. I'm actually not saying the other way. I'm okay with people spending 10 hours in WhatsApp, provided you spend 1 hour in something good. Yes, WhatsApp is definitely does not come under the good thing. There is a good food, there is junk food. We all love junk food, but you need to have some good food as well. Okay, so let's go for that. Right? If I might say, have a big board in front of you, write the number of hours that you have used your mobile phone, and start writing it on a daily basis. Then you would know which actually helps you, which actually does not help you. Okay, moving on. Mindset. Why do I keep that? So sorry about the duplicate here. Thinking and questioning and not following and doing things. Yes, that keeps coming everywhere. The mindset gets very fixed. Okay, the moment a freshers group come into the company and they come into a project, first thing they ask is, sir, what kind of technologies will I be working on, sir? So what is the latest technologies that I will be working on? You tell them you would probably be working on a mainframe project. You tell them you'll probably be working on a Visual Basic project. You tell them you probably give me something else. A little older technologies, C projects, C++ projects. I will promise you, within 30 days time, there will always be a grandmother who would have died and they have to leave the company, or they have to change the location. They need a change of the project. There will always be something else that would have happened that they wanted a change of project. Now, the biggest trouble I had, when I had a question from the freshers, what technologies will I be working on, sir? I used to ask them back, can you please list out the technologies that you think you are capable to work, sir? Will we be in a position to answer? All of us know what C is, what C++ is, what Java is. Non-IT folks, please pardon me. I am an out and out, computer technology student. I do not know either of computers or non-IT as well, but still. So, or for that matter, if they ask what is electrical technology is, I know I had a subject there. Or what digital signal processing is, I will never forget that subject as well. Would you be able to answer? So, do not have that mindset for you, because it is the project, it is the learning that matters. Everything else will automatically fall in place. Okay. Moving on, the next aspect is money. So, is money a factor? Definitely yes, but not in your first 3 years of your life. First 3 years dedicated for learning. You dedicate your first 3 years for learning, earning automatically will happen in the consecutive years. I saw a good chat. Somebody is asking, sir, what to do if we don't have a phone? You are blessed. Don't get a phone. Hopefully you have a laptop or a computer, not laptop, maybe a computer, or you find books is the best thing you can do. I hope I answered that question there. Sorry. So what does the freshers expect? We have a little more than 15-20 minutes. I'll try to rush through it now. So yes, these guys, I have kind of put it from what my understanding is. If you guys have more, you can feel free to add on in the chat window. So package, yes. Thankfully, it's kind of streamlined. So we are right now around at 2.5 to 3 lakhs per year. The brand name of the company, obviously, it has a huge pull. Bond duration, I know each company has their own bond, so we will see, okay, you know what, that company has only 1 year bond, this company has 2 year bond. Yes, be my guest. Perks and hikes, so how much of hike they are promising at the end of 6 months, at the end of 12 months, at the end of 24 months, regardless of what you do. We want that, fixed deposit guarantee for us. Any company that says we are offering you 3 lakhs, after that it's based on your promotions, or it's based on your performance, versus another company that says, you know what, we are offering you 2.5 lakhs, in 6 months we are offering you 3 lakhs, in another 6 months we offer you 3.25 lakhs, and by the end of 18 months, we'll probably give you 3.5 lakhs. Some people go and take that. Whereas the other company would have actually given you from 3 lakhs, they would have probably given you 4 lakhs straight. So location of the company, yes, I have seen this happening a lot of times. On-site opportunities, bad thing to ask for right now with the whole world in Corona. But yes, that's a most important driving factor that, most important tool that project managers also use to retain people. Work hours. Oh my God. Actually, the first time I heard about it, I got stunned, but then I started getting used to it. People actually ask, sir, so should I be there? The question is not about, should I work for 8 hours, 9 hours? The first question they have is, what time should I be even coming to office? And you say 10 o'clock, that early is what the question I get. Unfortunately, that's how it's become. And that's again back to mobile phones and late night games. So you play your mobile games over the night and then wake up early, come to office at 11 o'clock. Doesn't work, because guess what? If you're working on the west coast of the US, your calls are going to be on the morning. Or if you're going to work for, accordingly, wherever your client is placed, you might have your calls, if it's on the eastern side, you might have calls earlier. So these are the factors that drive. So what does the companies expect? companies actually, if you look at it this way, they actually look for people with right attitude, eagerness to learn, of course, excellent communication. We keep coming back to communication again and again and again. A good understanding in their respective field of study. This is a very good thing to put in, actually. The reason why I say that is, from an IT perspective, we always get resumes from electric ECE students, EEE students, mechanical students. It's fine. We do not ask them to write a programming, write a program in C, C++, Java. We do not ask them questions on what is inheritance, what is polymorphism. Nope. We actually want to ask them questions in their field of study. The idea is this: if you are good in what you have learned until now, you will definitely be good in what you are going to do going forward. So that's very important. We might not have paid attention to a lot of subjects during our course of studies, but believe me, by third year, you should start paying a more closer attention, because your respective field of study will definitely be questioned in your interviews. So basic skill set in the line of work, yes. While we may not ask you questions in polymorphism, inheritance, encapsulation, object-oriented concepts, or UML, XML, etc., but at least want you to know the basics in computers. Of course, long-term commitment. Yes, this was something which was missing for some time, and thanks to the flattening of the huge hype and expectations we used to have as a fresher, that people used to give 5 lakh salary and all that, that's kind of come down. So automatically, people jumping companies in the first 6 months, 1 year is probably not happening. I'll tell you, try to stick on to the company if you enjoy your work. Of course, they should pay you good salary, so make sure that is also taken care of. But for the first 2-3 years, I would say stick on to it if the work is good. Then think of a jump. So how does this actually happen? How does this transformation actually happen? So from what I saw from the last 2 slides, the fresher's view, the company's view. So how do you go there? You use your domain knowledge and your communication to gain self-confidence. So read a lot, learn a lot, talk about it a lot. That will increase your self-confidence. Self-confidence with the right attitude will take you through. Okay. No. So self-confidence and attitude, yes, it's all in your mind. You need to take control of what you are doing. If you that's a good, interesting saying that goes on, says, if you keep on doing what you have always done, you will keep on getting what you always got. Why do you even expect something different should happen? If you have tried something the same way and you are getting the same result, of course, that's what you will get if you keep trying it in the same way. You need to think different. Frame a plan, execute it, have smart goals. I hope you guys know what the acronym for that is. Have specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals. So specific goals, simple goals. It could be as simple as in the next 2 months I would learn XYZ subject, XYZ programming language. I would learn something outside of my programming language, something like that. It needs to be measurable. How do I know I actually learned it? Achievable, relevant to your line of work, relevant to what you want to become, and time bound. Do not keep a goal that you want to achieve 20 years from now. That's probably your vision. Start breaking it into smaller timelines and see how you can make it. Okay. So how do you prepare your resume? Keep it very realistic, guys. Keep it simple. You must remember that, if you are a fresher, there is no way your resume can be more than 2 pages. 1 page is more than enough, is what I would say. Okay. Do not write the entire syllabus that you would have read in your college. Data structures, data algorithms, compiler design, All subjects you would write. The problem is, the more you write, the more you are going to get into trouble. There is one areas of intersection that I see in every fresher's resume. What is your areas of interest? Data networks. Many people would write. Okay, very good. Data networks. Oh, can you tell me? Can you tell me what is that? You have the 7 layers of TCP/IP protocol. You have this presentation layer, application layer, data link layer, network layer. There is 2 more. Sorry. So you have the 7 layers. Can you tell me what that is about? Can you tell me what is an RSA algorithm is? 0. So point I'm trying to make is, be specific in what you write, and most importantly, at least prepare before the interview on those subjects. If you write about data structures, you should know what a binary tree is. You should know what an avial rotation is. If you write about, maybe digital signals or something, you should be able to, write all these different gates and all those signal microprocessors and things like that. You should be able to know that. Ensure, your projects that you're writing, it is something that you actually worked on. I went for a college interview where I saw there was one particular project which kept on coming in every resume that came up. A mobile app to do XYZ thing. Okay, so what I wanted is, okay, please write the user story for your mobile app. Meaning, what was your front end design? What is the back end? What is the middle layer? Can you please explain? Every one of the students who came actually happened to talk only about the front end design, that too only the first screen. And their answer was, sir, this was the only thing that I worked on. No, the project is as a whole. It has to be looked as a whole. It doesn't mean that, I worked on only one screen where I had to write 100 lines of code and that's what I knew. Then it doesn't work. We are not looking for people who just change, the requirements written in a document into a technology. No, we are looking for people who can think, who can look at the whole picture and talk about it. See, somebody is asking, is that a single page is enough in resume? Absolutely enough. You just need your personal details on the left-hand section, and in the main section, what's your school percentage, what's your college percentage, your areas of interest, and your technologies that you know, and about 2 projects that you might have worked. What else is needed in there? We have 10 plus years, 12 plus years, 20 plus years people trying to keep it in one page. Can very much keep it in one page. So what is it? Let's move on to the interview basics. So the whole art of interview, how does it happen? People have to understand that, interview is all about conversing and it's not about interrogating. It's a conversation and not an examination. The person sitting, on the other side of the table, all they want to know is, what have you learned over the last 4 years or 3 years? And what is your interest? They are definitely not going to, expect you to deliver a $1 million project all by yourself. No. All you are looking at is, are you good enough to take up the challenge? So how do we know that? By conversing. The 5 minutes that, the interviewer gets to talk with you. That's how we know that. So what we are looking at, we want to know your skill set and we talk more about it, only then we would be knowing about it. So it's very important how you talk to them back. So the words that you use, how do you communicate your thoughts? How do you, string those words into meaningful sentences? And how good are you in talking about it in the body language that you are using? Okay. Look at the way, the interviewer would, try his best to put you at ease, in the first 30 seconds. If you have the first 30 seconds, 1 minute, 90 seconds of your interview, probably 60 seconds of your interview, is when the interviewer will try to, keep you at ease. He'll try to ask you, do you need something? Do you need a cup, a glass of water? So what's your name? What's the whole point in asking about, tell me yourself? as if, the interviewer does not know about yourself. He saw it in your resume. He sees what's your name. He sees what's your college, what's your school. But why do we still ask? Because we want to break the ice. We want you to start talking a little more freely. So, most importantly, don't be afraid to say, I don't know. I started my career with a company called Polaris. I don't know how many people know here. I still remember I had at least said, I do not know for 3 or 4 out of 10 questions that was asked. They asked me, okay, what do you know about BFSI sector? I'm like, what? What is BFSI, sir? I said, no, what do you know about banking, financial services, and insurance industry? I said, sorry, sir, I do not know. Then they asked me, okay, tell me, do you have a bank account? I said, yes, I do not have a bank account, because back in 2003, people didn't actually will not have a bank account until you're earning by yourself. I said, but yes, my dad has a bank account. What else do you know about banks? Then I started talking, you know what, yes, I know something about banks. My dad has an account. There are shops who has an account. There's a difference between a person having an account versus a company having an account. So what does it mean? So there is something called savings account. There is something called current account. Now this is consumer insurance versus commercial insurance. Sorry, consumer banking versus commercial banking. So you know a lot of things, but you need to talk about it. So when I said I don't know, the interviewer actually was, he didn't feel bad about it because that's what it is. If you say my areas of interest is data structures and they ask you, can you do me a ABL tree rotation and show? They give you a set of numbers and then they say, okay, do a ABL tree rotation. If you say, I do not know for that, that is bad. If they are asking something outside of your knowledge base, please do not beat around the bush. You must remember that person would have actually prepared for it. It doesn't matter that the interviewer is, we are going for an IT company interview. If I talk something about mechanical engineering or engineering design, the guy will not know. For all that, the interviewer would have been from a mechanical engineering background. So he would know better than you. So don't try to, beat the bush. It doesn't work. First impression is very, very important. It cannot be done again. Speak slowly. Do not hurry. Smile. Do not show your nervousness there. Listen more. Talk less. You must remember 70% of our questions come up from what you guys talk to us. Based on what you talk, we get our next question automatically. Thanks to you guys. So be natural with the words you use. Do not get conscious about the grammatical errors that you might have. It's a content that's important at that time. Okay. Most of the selection happens within the first 3 minutes. Okay. So prepare well amongst yourselves, guys. This is what I keep telling. Conduct a lot of mock interviews. Ask your colleges to conduct it for you if you want. I'm sure our colleges probably are already doing it. And again, take ownership of these things. Don't expect somebody else to do it. You as a group of friends try to conduct it among yourself. There's a lot of information available in public domain for you. Take that. So what else can be done? We have about another 2-3 minutes, I guess, before I can finish it off. So what should I prepare? These are probably some of the things which I felt would be helpful for you. Focus on logical learning. Qualitative aptitude is something that we see that's missing. Logical reasoning. There used to be a good book called, what is it, R.S. Agarwal. Yeah, Logical Reasoning by R.S. Agarwal. Shakuntala Devi questions. Oh my God, it used to be awesome to sit and work on those things. Start working on those things. Don't even think for a minute how my logical reasoning question, improving my logical reasoning is going to help me find a job in Java, .NET or something. Because it's all about logic, guys. It's all about logic. It's all about me, understanding. It's all about reasoning. Please work on that. Have a basic understanding of BFSI sector. If you're spending 10 hours to find out how to cross each levels of PUBG, please spend 30 minutes to also read about what's happening around the world today. How does your COVID pandemic actually affect your economy? Try to read those things as well, just for 30 minutes. Find out what's happening in the banking industry. So what do we call about, what is the types of insurance we have? What is the financial services doing about it in this whole pandemic, which probably has a good, longevity to survive. Try to read a lot about all these things as well. And as a student, I would say, for an IT perspective, I would say learn one from each of the following: one programming language, one scripting language, and at least one database. Connect this to MVC architecture, model view controller architecture. You will find that one of these things will definitely come into picture. You do not have to be a master of everything. Try to understand one, concentrate on that, and read that. There's simple reason being, if you know one programming language, moving on to the other programming language, I will tell you it's very, very, very simple. I got trained in Java. I never worked in Java. The first project I worked was in Perl. I didn't even know what the expansion of Perl was. But again, logical reasoning, object-oriented programming concepts, if you know all of that, it's going to help you everywhere. Attend one communication training. Keeps on saying, I think on almost every slide I have put the word communication. Sorry about that. But yes, it's very important. Conduct intercollegiate competitions, not just attend other competitions as well. You need to conduct competitions as well, so that you have the ownership, you know how to run things. Participate in a lot of competitions. I remember the college was great. We forever grateful to our college for allowing us to attend so many symposiums. We went all the way to Madurai to attend symposiums as well. So conduct a lot of competitions, attend a lot of competitions, participate in hackathons, come out with ideas, try to showcase it. The government runs a lot of hackathons these days. There are every institution runs a lot of hackathons. Participate in all that. I said, learn Java, J2E, or .NET. Take one of these two. C++ is something I'm sure almost every stream, whether you are in IT, CSE, ECE, it doesn't matter. I think C++ is a basic which everybody is talking to you. Every syllabus has C or C++. Take that, move forward to Python or R programming. That, in my mind, is probably the new C++. It will be there for a decade. Everything around us is data. Everything around us is digital. So understand about digital transformation. When you keep using your Amazon shopping app, you keep using your Flipkart app, you look for something, you shop for something, and then you go to Google, you would have probably looked for perfume. What is the cost of the perfume? You might not have bought. You go to Google the next day, you will see a small pop-up that says, best prices available for perfumes. How does Google know that? That is digital technologies and data processing. So try to connect that in what you use. Understand all that. Agile methodologies. Waterfall lifecycle model is probably nearing its death. But remember, Agile actually took from Waterfall. So you must know what an waterfall cycle model is, but you must also know what an Agile methodology is. Get certified by learning and not by dumps, please. Yes, getting a certification is good, but do you actually know what you have learned? Every certification can be completed within 2 days these days. A simple point is by you getting downloading all the dumps that we have. Go through some 10 dumps, we are done. Okay, but don't do that. Try to learn some things as well along with it. How do we do that? There is a lot of courses available. So somebody is actually asking, give one example of communication training. Please go to this online.stanford.edu or simply learn. LinkedIn, go to LinkedIn, just Google communication training. You get a lot of things there. Okay, these are some of the sites that I have. I think we have about 5-6 minutes, but I think that's all I had, sir. So we can go to Q&A. or anything else that you guys want to still bore me off. If you want me to bore you guys, you can do that for another 2-3 minutes. So that's all I had, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
Over to you. Should I stop this presentation?
Yeah. That's. You can stop.
Thanks.
Received any question as such? I think all are comfortable with the presentation.
Good, thanks. Whether hackathon is necessary for everyone, somebody has asked. It depends on the stream and technology that you guys are on. So if you are on IT industry, if you are on IT or CSE, yes, I would say it would be good for you to practice some hackathon. Which programming language is best, sir? I already said, take Java or .NET. Also make sure you read either R programming or Python, I would say. What else is this, sir? Just looking at it.
Would you like to say anything on online portfolio?
Online portfolios, I'm not sure what exactly they mean by that. Are they talking about, if they are talking about online content management, online, bringing up online articles, online study environment, LMS portals? Yes, that is one thing which is coming up big time. LMS modules, learning management system. With all this COVID that's happening, we will see a lot of boom in the online, education market. That's a very good thing to look at as well.
Whether a hackathon is necessary for everyone?
Yeah, I just answered that, sir. Yes, if CSE or IT, I think it's a good thing to have. I'm not sure if they are conducting hackathon in other technology, other industries as well. For Mac student, I don't want to. It's better you don't ask me about it. That's the best advice I can give you. I'm very bad in maths. I hope Nirmala ma'am is not here. Which software and tool is good to study for DBMS? Take one database. That doesn't matter whether you take Oracle or SQL Server. It doesn't matter. Take one and read it. Database management systems as such is a subject, I think, in your syllabus. Other than that, make sure to read about Oracle, maybe, I would say. Why do students prefer MNCs than startups? Good question. I would actually love students to prefer startups than MNCs, guys. You prefer because of the brand names. Don't go with the brand names. Most of the branded companies will probably use you for triggering a job, sitting and watching whether the job is running or not. It's the startups which will actually give you a lot of work, which will actually make you learn a lot of things. Anything else, sir?
How to focus on particular subject like a language or any technical stuff?
How to focus on a particular subject? Switch off your mobile phones. Switch off internet. You will not have anything else to do. So you will focus, probably.
How to select a company as a fresher?
Especially for multimedia professionals, they can have their profile online CV. The best person to answer about multimedia is Kumaran sir. Okay, he was my multimedia sir. Professional for me. He taught me multimedia. Okay, so ask Kumaran sir. Seriously, whatever we are right now is all because of the excellent staffs in our college. Next,
I think. How to make resume attractive?
Have a Virat Kohli picture there, man. Resumes are not meant to be attractive. It's good. Seriously, a fresher's resume is not meant to be attractive. It means you're probably over polishing things. It has to be simple. Keep it simple. Write what you know. That's the most attractive thing to do. Don't write everything to think, okay, if I put Java, J2E, C, C++, Java, J2E, .NET, C, C++, Oracle, SQL Server. I've seen all that. I don't know when you get time to read all that. Experienced professionals themselves do not get time for all that. They take only one thing and they write only that. So don't do that mistake. It has to be simple. As a mechanical engineer, how can I get a platform for Python or Java? Udemy.com, buddy. Go to udemy.com, go to Simply Learn, go to Coursera. They teach from very basic. Anything else, sir? I hope it was useful for you guys. If not, I'm sorry I wasted 1 hour of your PUBG time or whatever you would have done useful. So.
Okay. Okay. I request every participant to submit the feedback form. Otherwise, you will not get the certificate. And the certificate, you will get it a maximum of 2 days. And so thank you very much, Raja, for spending your valuable time with us in your busy schedule. I hope everyone enjoyed the session. The students, now it's the time to equip yourself. Take down or remember the points discussed here. It will help you to reach the next level. That's a professional. I hope you had a clear understanding about the expectation and the reality. Wish you all the best for your bright career. Thank you very much for the excellent presentation, Raja. On behalf of Jaya Group of Institution and all participants, once again, thank you. At this juncture, I place my sincere thanks to our management, my thanks to our chairman, Professor Kanagaraj, our secretary, ma'am, Mrs. K. Vijayakumari, and our vice chairman, Engineer Navaraj, our principal, Dr. K. Samiduri, and all my colleagues who rendered their support for conducting this webinar series. And the next schedule tomorrow, we have the topic called Digital Twin, the next generation technology for Victric knowledge. Mr. Harinath, product manager, Claritrix India Private Limited. This is popularly known as Buddy Health. Okay, request everyone to connect for the tomorrow event at 6 p.m. Thank you all for your active participation. Thank you, Raja. Thank you very much.